Hey guys, it's the Crypto Cowboy with Elliott with Cafe coming to you with Bitcoin Technical Analysis Edition here for YouTube. Let's take a look at a couple of accounts that I have. I mean, what's going on with Bitcoin? Oh boy, it's been kind of sideways in here for a long time, and I think there'll be some major explosions in here shortly. I have several accounts, with our members here. We're looking, we're monitoring what's going on. We're kind of staying patient, just kind of sniping around and just waiting. We've tried a couple of small little trades here and there, nothing major. I'm not ready to deploy massive capital behind this just yet. But I need some kind of a trigger. So for right now, it shapes as a triangle. It's a pretty valid interpretation. We're looking at this move sideways, right? I mean, pretty much around 9,200. It's been sitting here for a long time. Is this count correct? Who knows? I mean, it shapes as it is, right? I mean, the price is converging. It starts with the larger volatility into the price, and as the time passes by, the price is, kind of cornered here to the side. The E wave could be complete, or we can continue a little bit longer, but I don't think there's much room left, guys. I mean, I think something is about to happen. We're again, if this is a fourth wave, maybe you're not happy with the way I'm counting the second wave on here. Maybe some of the divisions are wrong. Doesn't mean that the overall count is wrong, though, right? We're not invalidating any rules on here. I mean, this move up here, it's clearly impulsive. This is a sideways move, more than likely corrective, and it requires a break to the upside. Now, will this be a final wave in fifth, followed by a larger correction? We'll see. We'll take it one step at a time. For me, the trigger for the upside will be this 9470 zone, right? If we're starting to take above this D wave high on here at 9470, that would be one indication that this E wave could be completed. Then I would look for a 5-wave move up and try to buy a 3-wave correction on here to enjoy a nice third wave advance here towards 12,000. And, that would be my primary interpretation the moment we start breaking above this D wave. A little bit more confirmation we're going to get once we break above this 9790 zone. That's a pretty strong zone of resistance on here. And then we'll continue to look higher and try to stay with this trade as much as we can. But overall, back to the 12-hour chart, this is the idea. Wave 4 in a triangle, and then wave 5. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the way we measure our triangles on here, but basically what we do, and the proper way, I've done a video about this as well, you can find it on YouTube, but the way we measure triangles is basically we take the BD line and we extend this all the way, just to a line like that, and then we take this AC line on here and then we extend that as well. And then what we do is we take the larger portion of the triangle and then you measure it from the end of this wave E. So the larger portion of the triangle, if you're extending these lines from the origin of this wave A, it's all the way up here at the top. So you take this line all the way down and then you copy this line, and that's your measurement. And then you just basically copy this line and then you take it and then you push it all the way up there and see what that gives you. So even if I'm not, giving an exact measurement, but it's pretty much, just by looking at these lines, it's probably going to be at about $12,000 for the target. So you would kind of match nicely with this cluster of zones between 13,000 and 12,000 for targets for a fifth wave advance. Right, so this is how we're looking for. Another interpretation that I have, and here is a tricky one, right? I mean, if I go on this red count, the whole question on Bitcoin remains, is this correction over or it's not over? You could have a first wave 1 completed, and then we're looking for some sort of a second wave decline on here if this is the top of the wave 1. Now, I want you to pay attention to this because we're looking also at some time fib as well. And what I'm noticing up here is that the 618, the distance traveled, in this corrective pattern from the top that we've had back here in June, all the way to where we are right now, pretty much takes about 618 of distance traveled of this wave 1, right? So we just passed 50%, and I'm going to show you this in a second, and the 618 comes in July 22nd. So if I just kind of put my cursor up here, you will see, the date all the way at the bottom says July 22. If I move this a little bit to the side back here, just kind of take my second wave and just kind of move it, you can see that 50% starts to appear also on the track here. And 50% were basically right now. I mean, it was in July 12th, we passed 50%. So, this whole move from the highs, took about half the time traveled in whatever this move here took to complete. And you can also see this if I take a measurement, right? So if I measure from here all the way to here, this is about 81 days. And then if I take the measurement and just go from here to here, that's about, 40 days right on there, right? So, pretty much half. Now, I think this July 22nd, July 21st could be an important date. We'll see what happens if Bitcoin, for example, in this interpretation, drops a little bit lower and it continues with this corrective pattern and just does something like this, maybe a quick flush lower, and then we go back up higher to coincide with this 618 on here. Possible. That's a possibility. Just watch this bottom of this corrective channel, because this whole move up here looks corrective. Now, is this enough for a second wave? I don't know. I got issues with it. The reason is because we have to look at the fib retracement, and you can see that so far, guys, we've only corrected about 15% of this whole rise, right? So it seems that Bitcoin doesn't want to necessarily correct in price; it wants to correct in time a little more, and I'm okay with that. But gosh, if this is all we're getting for a second wave, just a 14% corrective pattern. The explosion up in the third, it's pretty massive. And that's what leads me to believe that this is still some kind of a fourth wave. Okay. And that's continues to be my main interpretation. I have a hard time believing that this is a second wave just because of this 14.6. But, pay attention to the 618 and let's see what happens. Going back to this count, where we're looking at this as being a fourth wave, right? You have a WXY, and then you have an X, and I'm looking at this as being an AB, and then maybe a C drop to the downside. Maybe this is going to be, coming down to that July 22nd, like I've said, for that 618. And then from there, we can jump back up higher. Again, in this interpretation, for this fourth wave, it's a little bit of a stretch kind of compared with the second. Again, the subdivision up here are debatable, but it's a viable count, and it certainly looks corrective. We have an interpretation under the yellow where we're looking at this as being more impulsive, starting to bring some kind of a impulsive move down to a series of ones and twos. It's a little bit forcing the count. Yesterday, I gave this a try, on this break lower, but the market quickly got rejected from up here. So, it's just not enough drop on here to tell me that this market is bearish. I'm on the fence. I'm just presenting you some of the arguments that I have for both cases. And, we'll see what happens. So again, under the pink, possible continued correction to the fourth. Under the green, kind of a preferred interpretation in here with the fourth wave and a break up higher in fifth, and then a corrective move lower on here. And then this for a second, again, you come down into this 14.6, you're looking at the 618. For me to take this wave 2 and just place it anywhere in here, I mean, even this, that would be just in distance traveled, not even 38.2% in the distance, right, for the second wave. So how could I place the second wave just on here? It just doesn't look right. And one of the important guidelines into Elliott wave is the guideline of the right look. And considering this a second wave is just not the right look. It's just, not for me. And then plus getting from here, you only have a 3-wave advance, which is not an impulsive. To see something more impulsive, you would need to, have a 5-wave advance in here if I was to place the second wave, right? You would have to have a 1 and 2. Okay, let's say this is another 1 and 2. Now you're getting super crazy here on the bullish development, and that's a little bit of a stretch. So that's why I think for the second wave, we got to correct lower. If we're coming, there's going to be one more dip, maybe into the 618, and then we break back up higher. Otherwise, this has got to be some kind of a fourth wave. Either like a W, XY like I have under the pink, or more of a triangle development with a breakup higher. So I hope I'm pretty clear on this. Let me jump on Ethereum and just take a look at Ethereum as well, because this one, it's developing some interesting characteristics here as well, right? We have a very sharp rise from the lows. And again, just the nature of this whole move sideways here looks corrective. Not enough for me to consider that this was the end of the move and now we're correcting lower, because, there's nothing impulsive coming to the downside. And I think we're still going to break up higher here in Ethereum. We do have a corrective channel, looks pretty clean. And, the move from the lows looks nice. So you have a 1, 2. We have this larger third wave, in a 1, 2, 3 triangle in fourth in here, and then a move up for a fifth. That completes this overall sequence, this larger third wave advance. And since then we're correcting. Now, we don't know if this correction is over or not yet. Again, the rise, if I go from a 6-hour to a 3-hour chart, the rise from the bottom of this fourth wave still appears just in a very simple 3-wave move. So you can go, pretty clearly, I don't think I can count 5 waves on here. You can go maybe some kind of a leading here in a wave 1, 2, 3, a very small 4, which is not, not right to me. So I think this is just a simple 3-wave move on here. Maybe this is part of a fourth wave and we're doing a fifth, then we correct lower and then we break back up higher. So that could be something. Or, we're still in some kind of an overall corrective pattern and we got to come back again and then break back up higher. But the context here, the overall context is that we need to break higher one more time before we correct lower in a second wave. Okay, other than that, this has to be counted as some kind of a leading diagonal coming down with a corrective pattern and a break lower for a second. And I don't think the market is displaying that. I think the market is telling us, I'm still correcting here and I want to make one more move up higher before I correct. Okay, so this is what I'm reading into this price of Ethereum. The near-term moves on here are still tricky, right? Maybe wait for a break if you wanted to get long on here. This is still contained. Maybe, you can enter with a small position. The stops, definitely I would keep them below this 220. If we're breaking below, back below this 220, there's a chance that we're going to probably go lower, maybe again towards this fourth wave of a lesser degree, maybe back towards 195. And then this fourth wave will possibly move back down on here, something like that. But I don't want it to get too large either, right? Because then it would be, quite disproportionate with whatever happened in the second wave. But still, hey, if it wants to, that's fine. But I don't think this is going to be a larger decline down for a second wave. I would have to take this wave 1 and put it up there. And, this was our thought for a while. We originally counted this as a completed move, but since you're not getting a reaction from the market coming down that it's anything impulsive, in an impulsive decline, you need something, a 5-wave structure coming down to give you an A wave as part of the second, and then a B and then a C down, either for a zigzag or for a flat, to tell you it's a second wave. But nothing here tells you that you're preparing for a second wave decline. So, with the way the alts have been acting lately, I think Ethereum, is teasing us to push back up higher. Just be patient. I think, even if we're getting maybe a slight move lower on here, it's possible this is a wave 1 complete and this is going to be just an ABC for its second, and then you're going to get a 3, a 4, and a 5 back up here into the 300 zone. And then a larger correction lower, maybe back to this 180 zone. Okay, so that's kind of my view today for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Remember, guys, if you like this content, don't forget to sign up for this channel and just subscribe, hit the notification bell. Come and visit us into the Pro Room and give us a try, and leave your comments below. Any suggestions, any interesting thoughts you have, leave them there. I appreciate you watching and staying with us, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.